You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope, the podcast. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm here with a very, very special guest, Gemma Nastasi. Gemma is a national board certified health and wellness coach from the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching, as well as an associate coach from the International Coaching Federation. She holds certificates in holistic nutrition, positive psychology, and life coaching. Her business is Gemma Health Coach, located in Red Bank, New Jersey. Oh, I love Red Bank, New Jersey. She is also a motivational keynote speaker and author. Gemma was recently an expert speaker on health coaching panel at the Integrated Healthcare Symposium in New York City. Gemma is the author. This is my favorite part. Gemma is the author of the Positive Psychology Diet, 21 Days to a Happier and Healthier Life, and also the author of Happiness is My Choice, a practical guide to happiness, which are currently available on Amazon. I have not gotten those books, but I'm telling you what, I am going to get them right away because these are right up my alley. Like they're the kind of soul food I like to feed myself. So thank you so much for being with us today, Gemma.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here, Jana. Thank you.
I'm really excited to dive into all of this because Gemma is one of the writers in, it's already been released, but in our August 1st issue on our self-care, it's called Self-Love and Sweat. And her article has been like, we've gotten so much amazing feedback. So if you haven't gotten it, you can go get it. But I wanted her to literally share her story of hope with us and then let us know how that created all of this amazingness that she's doing now and her message that she's putting out into the world. So Gemma, do you want to share your story of hope with us?
Sure. I feel like, through my experience and also working with my clients, that our life purpose is shown to us at a young age or at some point in our lives. And I feel like mine was. I grew up in a family where there was depression. One of my family members had a lot of depression issues, and I felt a real compassion towards helping. And I was young when, I saw these things happen with, how somebody would just, not want to act, be in life, do anything, any of life activities. So I would try to do things to cheer them up. And I noticed that sometimes it did help, but it didn't stick. So as time went on and I got into the health coaching business, I came across positive psychology. And I realized that that was a little bit of what I was doing as a child, but didn't really know how to help them to the point where it would stick for them. And that positive psychology was the psychology of happiness, what makes a good life and helps you to become your best self. So I wanted to help people. I was inspired. I knew I'm very sensitive to people that are going through emotional pain, and I wanted to be part of their journey of bringing them to a better place. So I love what I do, and I get such a great feeling out of seeing the results and the transformation in my clients.
I absolutely love what you do. I really would love it if you can try to help people connect the thought of positive, like the positive diet that you're talking about. How does that affect our health? How does that affect our outcome? And why does it sometimes not stick?
Well, I think one of the most important things are that we are wired for negativity. There's the negativity bias. It takes 5 to 7 positive things to cancel out one negative. So if you don't stick with trying positive things or adding positive things into your life, you're going to find that you're going to backslide into negative thinking, and you're not going to be creating positive pathways to your brain, which are very important towards your overall wellness. So the positive psychology diet basically is all the wellness tools that you can add to your life. Healthy eating, exercising, relationships, having good quality relationships, focusing on gratitude, savoring good events, positive events, Doing anything that is going to bring out a positive emotion in you and repeating that over and over again. So it's very important to take care of your mind and body, but it's also important to remind yourself to be grateful for the things that you do have and to start working on achievements, setting goals, achieving them. Helping other people when we volunteer, when we give up ourselves, it's a great gift back to ourselves. It's even better than it is to the person that you're giving to. So knowing that there are ways that you can increase your happiness, and that's all part of living a life. And I call it the diet because it's what you feed yourself. Positive tools that you feed yourself. Those are the tools that will help you to increase your life satisfaction. And you can do that. 50% of our happiness is genetic. There is absolutely nothing you can do about it. And 40% is controllable and 10% is life circumstance. So I like to think that I work with my clients with their 40%, no matter what their genetic makeup is. And we work with the tools to help them to improve their happiness and increase their life satisfaction.
So you brought up a couple of really good points. One of them is the negative is so much easier, like it sticks, it's so much easier to believe. And this is going to sound really funny, but I remember this one line from Pretty Woman where she was laying there telling her her life story. And he asked her why she doesn't believe that. She said, it's because the negative is so much easier to believe. And it's true. And I think it's really funny that when you're on social media, like if you're watching this, you're probably on social media. And a negative will go viral so quickly, and it'll take hundreds of positives to wipe that one negative out, which blows me away. Why do the negative videos go viral? Why do the negative comments go viral? But the positive gets drowned out. Why are we not open to receiving that?
We're wired that way, and the negatives stick. You really have to work on changing the way you're wired and creating those positive pathways. We're always looking for danger. Especially if you've had negative things happen to you, you're on the lookout even more so. And it's really hard to turn that around because it takes a lot of work and you have to be mindful. And I think it's so important that you practice mindfulness when it comes to that, you know what, the negativity is way stronger. And this doesn't serve me. It doesn't make me show up better. So how am I going to process this? So that I don't have to keep it as a negative thought.
So I know for me, it's taken a lot of work. And honestly, I do it on a daily basis. I try to feed myself so much positivity. I try to reframe what's going on in my brain if it goes off negative. It's hard work. It really is. But once you start doing it, it's not hard work anymore. It becomes part of your habit or your pattern. And now when someone says something negative, someone might say, "Did you hear what she said to you?" And I'm like, no, what? Because I don't even hear the negative anymore. Like I feel like now I thought she was complimenting me. Like I just didn't hear it.
Right. You can train your brain. You can turn it around. But it does take a lot of work. And a lot of people have negative thinking habits, and it's just, they're always thinking about the negative. They're listening to the mind chatter that, usually you don't have positive things that you say to yourself. So you have to turn it around. When I first started public speaking, I was so critical on myself. I was like, you're terrible. Nobody likes what you're saying. I was telling myself all these things. I don't even know how I got through it. And by the time I was done, I was like, everyone was telling me, this was awesome. I loved what you had to say. And I start to talk back to myself and say, you know what, that's not true. I'm not going to believe it. I know that I'm doing my best. And, and that's all you can ever really expect from yourself is doing your best. And every day your best is different.
100%. And like, why we're so hard on ourselves when we feel like we didn't hit the mark or something just isn't perfect. But when we do something that's really amazing, we don't even celebrate that. It's like, we just like, oh, well, that's what I needed to do instead of celebrating it. And someone asked me one time during my journey what I celebrate. I'm like, honestly, when I was sick, I celebrated waking up. Yes. I really did. Like, I've got another day. I've got another day to do whatever I want to do. Right. And so I celebrated every little moment, and waking up was a big celebration in our house.
Well, as you're saying, you weren't feeling well, so you were celebrating waking up, but that you actually, through the negativity, you found gratitude.
Oh, 100%.
And And the gratitude comes from the negativity if you look for it and you turn it around. You cultivate the adversity and you turn it around into something positive if you can. Sometimes it takes a while and you come to terms with things, but it's important to know that there is gratitude if you look for it. You can be grateful for something.
Gemma, another thing that you said that I think is so important for anyone who's struggling with mental health issues, depression, that there is a 60, 40, 10. And Gemma says she works with the 40% part of that. So I don't want people to feel like a lot of people will go to a mindset coach, and I'm a mindset coach, so I'm not even bashing myself, but I also know that I do not work with mental health because that isn't the same thing. And if I worked with you and said, well, why aren't you just change your mindset? You would feel like you were failing over and over and over again. You need to work with the experts in the 60%. You need to work with the experts in the 40%, and you need to do your 10%, right? Like you just have to create a better environment for yourself. So if you're around toxic people, you're not around them as much anymore, right? Sometimes our family's toxic and you don't want to remove yourself from them, but you limit that space, right? You put out that positivity and the mindset that this is going to change one day. And so you just do that. But I love that you broke that down the way you did and said, I very specifically work in that 40% area. So I want you to understand that there is help for you out there, and it's going to take maybe a village to get you there. But if you have the mindset of making that change for yourself and going out and seeking those answers, oh my gosh, the doors you are going to open up for yourself and the life that you're going to have will be like amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that when you do start working with a coach, as you know, your clients become mindful. They're starting to work on themselves. So they are really paying attention to themselves. And that is a form of self-care. They realize that they're not happy or something's wrong in their life. And they're working on improving their life, and they're watching their behavior, or they're mindful of their behavior. And that's how they start to change.
So on your book, it talks about the 21 days to a happier and healthier life. Can that really happen in 21 days?
You can create the foundation to a change in 21 days. It takes 2 to 8 months for it to actually cement in, whether, depending on the person. But if you're doing something positive for 21 days, you can have, that's the beginning of starting that habit. And if on the 22nd day you stop doing it, when you go back to it, you go right back to where you were when you were in the 21-day period of developing that habit. So nothing is lost in that time frame. It's really important, though, that you are, stay on track, because that's how you will create change. And it's not easy, but it happens, and it can happen. And you just have to know that it will take time.
One of the things I've been learning a lot about recently, because our next issue of Best Holistic Life is going to be on the power of frequencies and vibration. And I've always believed in frequencies and vibrations. So if my kids kept coming home saying, so-and-so is bullying me, my teacher was mean, dad yelled, whatever, like it's all everybody else, right? I would literally hold a mirror up and say, take a look at the number one person involved with all those different people. What energy are you putting out there? And we would work on changing that energy for the next day, not fret over the last day. And how do we change that going into tomorrow? Like, what can we do differently? And once their energy changed, the energy around them started changing. My kids completely understand the power of the energy you put out into the world. It's like amazing. You walk through the streets and you're smiling at people as you go, and they smile back. You're changing their energy, their frequency and vibration, moving out into the world. It's really powerful stuff. How does that come into play maybe with working on mindset and mental health?
Well, I talk to my clients about doing little things to make themselves happy, but I also talk about smiling, interacting with other people. It's so important. Other people matter a lot. Not a little bit, but a lot. If you are struggling and you're not in a good place in your life, push yourself to go out and to be with friends or people that are positive. Watch the negative people. Yes, we do have them in our families. We know that. We do have them. There are some friends we keep because there's more benefit that we get from them, but there's negative sides to them that don't serve us. But it's important to make sure that you are around positive people, that you're doing things to help yourself, because, you can't sit in a room and expect your life to change. You have to be able to take yourself out of that room and do things that maybe they're a little hard for you to do. But then they'll get easier. Absolutely have to help yourself. And it's important for you to recognize that you don't like where you are, and make a plan. And it doesn't have to be like this big plan. It could be a little step, like I'm going to have lunch with so-and-so on Friday, or during this month, I'm going to go out twice with this friend, just so that you can start putting in positive habits of relationships where you're with people, creating time for yourself, also relationship you have with yourself, the way you talk to yourself. I mean, a lot of people aren't very kind to themselves. So showing yourself kindness, it's easier, I think, to show kindness to a stranger or somebody else. It's not so easy to show yourself kindness. And that's why I think that you have to be mindful about what you're doing, how you're living your life, and make those changes.
I agree. I think that we depend too much on others' validation of ourselves, when really the only opinion that should matter is ours. We should be telling ourselves, you look great today.
Right.
You are doing amazing. Keep up the good work. Girl, you're crushing it. Like, we should be telling ourselves that. We shouldn't be depending on someone else to validate who we are, or how we're growing, or how we're moving through life. So I 100% agree with that. Is there anything that maybe you can give us as a little tip moving forward, like maybe one thing we can change right now, you don't have to do it all in one day, but if you just make one step, what is something that you teach in the book that's just one thing that they can do today to start moving forward?
The most powerful thing that I feel as a positive tool is gratitude. And the gratitude lists, I remember doing them. They shouldn't be the same every day. Do it for what you're grateful for that day. I remember doing them at a time in my life when it was difficult, for like 2 weeks. And then I stopped. And all of a sudden, I would wake up in the morning and I was so happy. And I was trying to figure out what happened the day before. What happened to make me so happy? And it really was, I realized that the gratitude list works, that it helps. And the research shows it. So if there's one thing you can do right now to change your life, before you go to bed, put something positive in your brain. Write your gratitude list of what happened that day, how you contributed to it happening, and what you're grateful for in that day. And try to do it for 21 days. In my book, I tell you to. And that will become a gratitude habit.
By the way, though, that is so powerful. There is a chemical reaction in your brain when you write something down, not type it down, not even say it out loud. But when you take the time to write it down, that creates a change in your thought process and what's happening. So I love that. And I'm the person who said, I'll never do a gratitude book. That's just like so stupid. Well, I mean, I'm grateful. I show gratitude all the time. I'm not writing it down. It changed my life. And not only did it change my life, I know that I can leave that behind for my grandchildren one day to see, because sometimes my gratitude was in them, like just spending a call with them or a FaceTime, and they're going to see those moments all played back to them. So I love doing gratitude books for so many reasons. So I definitely do mine every night. And again, there's something chemically that changes in the brain when you physically write something down. That's why they tell you, write your goals, write your dreams, write the things that you want to do. Your brain starts building that roadmap towards it because you're telling it to. So it seems stupid because we have all access now to just text it on our phone, verbally, but writing something like that down is a powerful tool for your brain.
Right. I also, on my website, I have printouts, and there is a gratitude list that you could, print out and, make copies of it and do it for the 21 days. Do the experiment on yourself and see if it makes a difference. I'm pretty sure it will. It has for my clients, and it definitely has for me. I always try something that I tell my clients to do. So trust me, it worked, and that's important. You can definitely do that. It's easy.
And I love that in this book, it says a happier and healthier life, and happiness. The next book is Happiness is My Choice. But I want everyone to understand that you do have a choice in this. You absolutely are in the driver's seat and have control. And I don't care what your situation is. Like your head, don't let other people in there. Don't let those thoughts and negativity in there. You have the choice to block that. You have the choice. Like when someone insults me now, I don't even get it. Because I have a choice to receive it differently. So I don't even see that anymore. And it, like, again, this didn't happen overnight. I would be like, did she just say my butt looks big in this? And now I'm like, whoa, I look good in this. So you definitely have a choice how you want to receive things, how you want to put them out there. You have a choice in your life. Don't let anyone take that power from you.
Absolutely. And don't forget to savor those moments. When you talked about being with your grandchildren, I have 4 granddaughters. And honestly, when I'm with them, I squeeze them and I hold this snapshot. I take a snapshot in my brain for like 20 seconds of what that looks like and feels like. And I can recall it anytime I need to, if I want to have that little spark of happiness come to me. So remember, you can do that.
Gemma, don't you think like grandkids are a do-over for us? Because I remember my mom, my aunts, all the women in my life saying, don't rush this. Be careful. I promise you, you're going to blink one day and they're going to be grown. And I'm like, whatever. Like their toddlers, like, yeah, that's never happening. They're going to be here forever. And I blinked one day and they were grown with children of their own. And then I had a wake-up call by almost dying. And now every moment is a gift to me. And I realize that I am not taking all those possessions with me when I go, but those memories, those screenshots, those 5-second snapshots and hugs and scents around it and the giggling, those are the precious gifts in our lives now that keep us moving forward. And I recognize it now. So to me, grandchildren are a do-over because we're going to tell every mom the same thing our parents told us. And they're going to be like, whatever.
Right. I agree. Yes.
Totally a do-over. Yeah. I call my grandkids my most famous do-over.
Absolutely. Without any of the stress of raising or the responsibility that you have when you're raising your own children.
True. Like they don't get no's here, right? It's like, can I eat that chocolate for dinner? Go ahead.
Right.
You're going home in an hour? That sounds good. Totally do-over time. So enjoy your life. And for all those parents who are listening, I hope you get this, but I know you won't. But I hope you get this. At least take some time to take a breath and be in those moments because I crave them back. I look at my kids loving on their babies and I see them also not getting it. But I understand. I think it's just a process. Like we're in our careers, we're working on our relationships, or we're the cab driver, we're the school teacher, we're the referee, we're like everything, the housekeeper, the cook. And it's hard sometimes to be in those moments. Like maybe that's the way life's supposed to be. But when you get those grandkids, it's completely different.
It's a gift. It's your gift for a good job.
I love this. And I think that you're amazing. We're going to put all of Gemma's links in the show notes so that you can connect with her, grab her books on Amazon, go get that gratitude journal, the worksheets that she has so that you can start a gratitude journal of your own. Look, for all of you that have mindset blocks or limiting beliefs. I remember my mom telling me, because I wrote something in school once and I got in trouble for it, she says, never put it on paper.
Oh, yeah.
Keep that stuff in your head. And if it comes out of your mouth, you can always deny it. But if you put it on paper, so I had that thing to not put anything on paper.
Me too. I heard the same thing.
I know a lot of you who are listening are like, oh, yes, I heard that. Yes. But put your gratitude on paper. Like that is for you. Like be out there and show that gratitude. Write it down, share it with those that you love. And like you can hide it away if you want. But I'm telling you, I'm very proud of my gratitude journal. And anyone who wants to look at it could look at it. Like I'm okay. I do hide away some of it because I want it for my kids for later. But it's an amazing gift to yourself. But it becomes a gift to others as well.
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Gemma.
You're welcome. And thank you.
I think that you're amazing. I've been cyber stalking your social media. We're going to put her social media links in there. You're going to want to follow her. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. I think you're amazing. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show. That'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.